Hi, this is Ashley Danielle from ashleydanielle.com, and I am your psychic intuitive manifestation mentor. And I have something that I feel like might be a little bit controversial. It feels controversial to say, anyways, that I'm going to share. And stay with me because I'm going to get to the point. Like it's going to take me a minute to get to like the reason why, but it's super important. I was thinking about what it was that I wanted to talk about in this video, what is coming up and through that just needs to be shared. And one of the things that I was thinking about was why do people not get what they want? Like, why do you not have what you want, right? And I've talked about this in previous videos. And so I'm like, okay. So then I sit down and I start doing my journaling. I start doing my automatic writing. And I'm like, like what needs to be spoken? And I started to write the answer and I was like, oh no, 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 no. I don't want to talk about this because I know that like where I was when I started my healing journey and my consciously wanting to be a better, I don't want to say better, but like for me, I subscribed to the belief that I wanted to be a better version of me. And when I heard this, I was like, nah, don't think that's true. So if you're somebody that has been traumatized, or if you have like a lot of trauma in your life or have moved through a lot of traumatic experiences, this might feel a bit triggering. And I am with you and I understand that. And so, like, if you don't want to continue listening, like, great, you can skip this one. And also, it is super important. And the reason why is I'll go into, right? Okay. I'm just going to read what I wrote and then go from there. I journal my question and it's, like what do I need to say to my people, right? And it's like you need to know that you aren't alone and you also need to know that you have a choice. You have a choice. There is always a choice. There's always a choice, right? And I remember like years and years ago, somebody actually said that to me, like, oh, you chose that. Not talking about anything like super abusive, but it was like a choice that I had made when I was a teenager. And I'm like, well, I didn't have a choice. And this person was like, yeah, you did. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't understand that I had a choice. It doesn't matter. I still had a choice and I made the choice that I made. And it was not somebody doing something to me. It was something that most people would view as having a choice, but it felt like it happened to me. Therefore, I felt like I didn't have a choice, and therefore I felt like I didn't have power over my own life. When I started to hear this like on a deeper level, like it took me quite a few years to get to the point where I was like, oh, I understand, right? Like I understand that I did have a choice, but I didn't realize that I had the choice. And it was like learning to forgive myself for making a choice that I didn't know, right? Like it is like all of these levels of healing that get to happen. But to take it to like a little bit lighter, the thing that I wrote down, the example is, oh, I have to go to work. And it's like, yeah, I have to go to work. I don't have a choice in that. I have to go to work. One of the tricks is to ask yourself, like, is this true? You can use that question for anything, but for this specifically, it's like, oh, I have to go to work. What do you mean? I don't have a choice. Like, I actually have to go to work. And it's like, is that true? Is it true that you have to? It's like, yeah, I have bills to pay. No, but like, is it actually true that you have to go to work today? And it's like, no, you don't understand. I actually have to go to work. No, do you have to? It's like you could take a sick day, you could quit and get a different job, like, all of these things. And I know, there's all of the resistance to it and all of that, like valid concerns. But at the end of the day, the truth with a capital T is, do you have to go to work? No, you don't absolutely have to, right? Like there's a choice. If you stay home or if you fuck off for the day or whatever it is, there's consequences, of course, but you have a choice, right? So, and it's like, okay, so why? Why do I want to go down this road of being like, oh, it's a choice, I have a choice? The reason is because real change can only happen when you realize that you are the power. You are the power. And so when you are constantly like, oh, I have to go get groceries. I have to do this. I have to do that. It's like life is happening to you, not for you. And so when you start to realize and acknowledge that you have a choice, that you always have a choice, whether you like the choices that are present or like the options that are presented to you or not, it doesn't matter. When you acknowledge that you have choice, you're reclaiming your power. You're reclaiming your sovereignty, right? And it's like it is very fucking difficult to consciously create, to heal and to change your fucking life if you don't acknowledge that you are the power and source in your life. Life is not happening to you, it is happening for you. But if you're constantly like living on autopilot and you're not like consciously making the choices, then life is actually just happening to you and you're not going to get what you actually want. I mean, you might happen to like stumble on it, but it's not like progressive growth and progressive learning and receiving and enjoying and experiencing life how we're actually meant to. When you can break it down into every day, all day, like the different choices that you make. I don't love this, but what I just saw was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Well, do you? Well, I could wait. Oh, no, maybe I'll go now. And then it's like, those are choices. Like you have a choice. It's not like, oh, I have to. I mean, granted, sometimes you do have to, but it's always like there's a choice, right? And so when you start to take this, I have to out and start to see that at any second, there's millions of choices that you are consciously or unconsciously making, it opens the door for like bigger opportunities to start to come through. And here's the reason why. When you, so I'm not super scientific with stuff, like I could present relevant information, but I feel like it's more important for my people to explain things in a way that like you get it baseline. The point here is, and what we want to do is start reprogramming your brain to be like just living on autopilot. I do this because I have to. I do this because I have to. I do this because I have to. And like one of the things that I do with my kids is, I mean, not always. I'm not perfect. So if they're watching this, they're like, "Mom, that's not true." I try not to just be like, you have to do this thing because I said so. Like brushing your teeth, right? Like when the kids are little, it's like you have to brush your teeth. Well, just because mom says so. No. It's like because otherwise you'll get cavities and it's no fun having cavities drilled into your teeth, like or like drilled out. It like there's consequences. Like this is a choice. If you don't brush your teeth, it's a choice. I don't ever say to my kids, you have the choice, but the consequences, you're gonna have this happen. If you do brush your teeth, the consequences, you'll have healthy teeth. Acknowledging to them that there's a choice and what the different choices will most likely lead to, because I want them to understand the reasons why we make the decisions that we do so that they're not just, we do this because we have to. We do this because mom said so. And, without going into all of it, that's what we want to do is like slow things down and start seeing options, start seeing life really as a series of choices. Because what's going to happen is once you consciously, subconsciously understand that you get to make a choice on every decision that you're making a choice, whether you're just going along because that's what society tells us we have to do, or because like you're rebelling against it or whatever, or because you're like, which do I want, this or this? This is interesting. So what they just showed me, okay, you'll okay, I'll come back to that. So what they just showed me is it's like, okay, I see. Um, when you reprogram your brain to start to see you as the power, you as having the opportunity to make choices, what happens is you start to see the different opportunities and it helps you decide. This is the new thing. It helps you decide on what the things are that you actually want. So if like for quite a few years ago when I started my business, a big thing in the coaching world was like I want to retire my husband and I want to travel and I want to have a bigger house and I want to, make 7 figures in a year and I want blah 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 blah. And it's like those things never really resonated with me. Like at the time I was still married, and it was like he would not ever want to be retired, right? Like, no. I had younger kids traveling all the time, which just it didn't sound right. And so it was like really hard for me to like have big goals because it was like the choices that were presented were like not doable, feasible, weren't something that I wanted to do at the time. It didn't feel like there was a choice in the matter. When you're in this phase of not understanding that you have a choice, not understanding that you are the power, it becomes really difficult to even see the opportunities, right? So like now it's like I wouldn't want a big house. I'd want a smaller house. And so if the opportunity for a smaller house comes available, like if one comes on the market, I would actually be able to see that opportunity and like seize it, right? But if I was just like, oh no, I'm not making conscious choices, I wouldn't even look at that because it's like, no, society tells us we want to have bigger houses, right? And so over the years, I've programmed my brain to see choices for what they are. And a lot of this comes too from like religious brainwashing where it's like black and white and there's no gray. So if you can start to like see choices and consciously make choices and repattern the way that you talk about how you go about your day and the things that you get to do versus have to do. And it's not even like that. It's like taking it a step further. I feel like I have to go to work every day. Okay, but I'm choosing to because I like to be able to pay my bills. I like to have money to like buy groceries, right? And so it's like getting into the energy, getting into the thought process of I'm actually choosing this because I love my life and I really want to continue experiencing things the way that I experience them. That puts you in the path and the trajectory of receiving more of that, right? The point here is you are the fucking power of your life. Life is not happening to you, it is happening for you. So, like, make it happen. Make it happen. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear. And I will see you in the next video.